begin to I begin to
Post Corner. It is our special. The host has muted your mic.
Unmuted.
Oh, Good evening, everyone. It is a beautiful Sunday evening, and we are here for the Couples Corner Pillow Talk. It is season. Is it season 4?
Season 5.
Season 5, brother.
And this is episode 5.
5.
Yeah. 555. Grace. Number Grace.
Brother. But it is set to be an exciting night because we're going to be discussing something that has been popping up in social media pretty recent, and it is something that a lot of persons don't really consider. But we want to hear your thoughts today on the topic. Good evening to you, Lady Rona Miller. Good evening to all of you connecting with us this evening on Pillow Talk. This is the place where we say God is best for you and your partner. Come on.
All right, guys. So welcome again to the corner Rock and Come Here. We have a very lively conversation, as my wife indicated. We're going to talk about the whole thing about prenuptial agreement. Should we consider that in marriage? I know already that the Christians are going to tell me no, that should not be. So we want to have a discussion about it. We want to hear your views.
You assume.
Good to hear. Yeah, I am assuming. And you know me, I always assume, right? It's good to see Lady Rona Miller joining us. Feel free, Lady Rona, to call in. Just send them a number. And when you call and give me your views later on, tell us what you think. Should different persons in a relationship be taking steps to guard their assets? I want to know. All right. Of course, there's always 2 and 3 sides to a story, and so we want to look and listen what everybody has to say. And of course, you know me already. Me, I will share my opinion on the matter. Good evening to you, Lady Andrea Holness. Yeah. See, we have Lady Andrea Holness here. Of course, Lady Andrea Holness is no teenager. Should she be taking steps going into her marriage? Should she be taking steps to protect her assets? Can you imagine getting married tomorrow? And, everybody married with the intention of staying together forever. You know what I mean? Can you imagine just marrying and then, after 6 months, someone decided to file, divorce, and then 50% of all your hard-earned living is going to this individual. While we all look forward to a perfect marriage, is it always going to be a perfect marriage? We want to hear your opinions.
I think there are conditions to this,
Absolutely, there are a lot of conditions. That's why we're going to be examining them later on. So guys, go ahead and share the program. Invite persons over to come and share with us. Just want to remind you what the Couples Corner is all about. We say God is best for you and your partner. And we're building a lasting and sustainable marriages through a variety of programs based on principles outlined in Scripture. So most of our answers are going to be shaped around Scripture. All right, others will be highly opinionated, and of course, we'll incorporate some reality because we know some of them are heavy with them on earth, and so marriage enjoyed down on earth.
My husband is providing the whole feel for me. Good evening, Chantel. Oh, it's Shade.
What are you dealing with? Shade, one. Rock and come in our place, man. Chat about. All right, so marriage is the idea of God, and therefore we refer to Him for the directives to create thriving unions. All right, our vision is to provide a safe space in which couples can thrive together physically and emotionally. And we thrive not by denial. We thrive by examining carefully, listen to what people have to say, and we have a healthy conversation. We must be able to agree and disagree in a healthy manner. So rock and come in and be a part of this. Good evening to you, lady Andrea Reed. Tell them so we're live. Them need to come on because we are going to be talking about this whole idea of prenuptial agreement. Is it something Christians should be considering? And what perhaps might be the ground why a Christian may need to consider this? I am going to be talking. We have a lot to say on this. A long time I want to talk about, something that rub my belly a long time. Like this, something we're coming at the thing, just give me a space. Just give me a platform to hear my views. And I'm going to hear my views without fear, See, I'm still saying a lady rock, they are nervous about talking about. I'm going to hear my views. So some of the men on here and women might be afraid to share. I'm so glad that when you come to the Couples Corner, it's a free space. It's a free space to examine our conversation. Rock and come in. Our mission is to become the leading provider of sound, biblical, practical, and relatable knowledge and experiences for couples and singles alike, equipping them to create successful marriages through willing application of the principles that are set out in Scripture. Lady Reed, I know so you feel sorry for me because you see me song right side. I come talk about prenuptial agreement. Look here, man. I don't want to get my head bust or stone no kind of way. So listen, I will be as clinical as I can to make sure that my point is well expressed. All right, and of course, I have not fully discussed the conversation with my wife. Of course, she might have some idea of where I'm going to go with my discussion, of course. But yeah, when we come at the Couples Corner, we come to have a safe space. So we're going to be discussing. All right, but before we do that, I want to know if we go and rock and come in. So go and share the program and let's join in as we go on. Watch out, man. Shade said, no prenup, we are no one. I am with my husband because I love him, not what he has chatbot. Should we be considering prenup? Keep those views coming in.
Without you, it's not the same. Just something missing. Why? I feel like a lonely man with no one to talk to.
Yeah, you can feel like a lonely man and a man with homeless too.
But with you, everything is alright. We, baby, let's just keep it this way. Oh. Without you, my life would be incomplete. Oh, here with me making love so sweet. You see, there is no one in my heart, only you, baby, and that's for real. Listen, all the loving that I have, you know it's just for you.
I know, sir, rocking and coming,
All the loving that you have.
Listen, we still drink over here and let us know what you're drinking.
Listen, it's just for you.
I just had some water.
Oh, baby, feelings isn't too long for you.
Yeah, let me drink some water.
So when I tell you that I love you, take it seriously. Cause for a man to love a woman isn't that easy. Things I do, I just want to dedicate this song. I can't do, no. I can't do without you. Oh, Lord have mercy. Without you.
Watch out, man. I can't say good afternoon again. We have to say good night to you. A journey called life.
With me, there's no passion or burning fire. I just can't go on. You know that you're my desire. You you should know it's not the same without you, and I'll never.
Let us know. In the meantime, should we be considering prenuptial agreement? Is there any grounds for Christians to consider prenup agreement?
Make you blue.
And if I consider prenup agreement, does that mean I love you any less?
Oh,
Do I have any grounds to protect my assets?
you.
But what about you, lady? What if you are the most wealthiest? Do you have any ground to protect your assets?
You, my life would be incomplete without you. Here with me making love so sweet. You see, there is no one in my heart, only you, baby. And that's for real. Oh, it's just for you. It's just for you. All I want to do is make you feel right.
You know, sometimes making you feel alright, maybe need to get in a prenuptial agreement. Yes, sir, what? Yes, sir, what? I'm gonna make you feel alright. No, I feel alright. I want to make sure so you're there to stay.
Another day dawns without seeing, hearing, feeling, touching you. Oh, I just can't take it. It's so crazy not being able to hold you. Na 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 na. I need you like a flower needs water, just as a little baby needs his mother, just as the breast that we so dearly depend on. I need your love to live on, so there's just no getting over you, baby. I'm just helplessly hooked up on you.
Watch out, man. There's no getting over you. But you will get over with me, I said.
There's just no getting over the way that I feel. I just can't last a day without you.
Good evening to you, Lady Donna Foster.
It won't be long, soon the days will dawn, and in your arms
On the rock and come in, man.
I'll be.
Listen, we want to get the show started. Watch and share the program. Invite somebody. Let them know we're live. Hot discussion tonight, you know.
It took too long for us to find out that this was meant to be. Oh, I need your love to keep me going. I need your kiss to keep the love alive going. Just at the breath that we so dearly depend on. I need your love to go on.
No getting over you.
Getting over you.
But you see, why me now get over you, me don't want to lose my assets.
Oh, I'm helplessly hooked up. There's just no getting over.
You know, so I'm going to pull it up right here because if you go and play music, you know, you're going to play music all night and you never get into the discussion. So tonight we come for one reason tonight. And we're going to be talking about the whole thing about prenuptial agreement. And of course, you know, say anything we talk about in the corner, of course, is inspired by something. I know you all have been very familiar with the conversation that have been taking place all through social media with my Moroccan footballer, 24, Ashraf Hakim. Yeah, man. That's the young man that is inspiring the conversation. And of course, the article read, footballer Ashraf Hakimi, his wife, filed for divorce and demanded, look at the word, I like the use of the word, demanded half of his property. She was, however, informed by court that her millionaire husband owns nothing. No, this make more pop up.
Really stubborn, huh?
Una ever hear say una tried when una dig one, una must know what dig two. This year come like a man. And me know say me have all of the ladies out there, you know, I say, what make the man them so happy. Listen, when man get justice one time, the whole of we are march up and represent. So let me read the rest of the article. All right. She was however informed by the court that her millionaire husband owns nothing as all his property is registered under his mother's name. Hakimi receives €1 million from PSG monthly, but 80% of this is deposited in his mother, Mrs. Fatima's account. He has no property, no cars, no houses, no jewelry, and no clothes in his name. Anytime he wants anything, he asks his mother, who buys it for him.
Probably he never felt secure.
He never felt secure.
Tamira, hey Tamira.
Yesterday I was talking to somebody about prenup. If I have to sign that, boy, bye.
Boy, bye. Boy, bye.
Well, we're going to have a frank discussion coming over tonight. Of course, I don't know. So once you come into the corner, we're going to have people who can reason. Feel free to call in and give on the views. Or just comment on the views and let us know what is going on. You know, I want to first of all establish a background as we dive into this discussion and come back. And, you know, we're going to hear reviews as it relates to this particular story that we are hearing inside of social media. We want to know if this is the way to go, if this is something that is ever supposed to be considered. All right. So let me just quickly go out and just establish our position. All right, so everybody know that we believe that God is the one who designed marriage. All right. And of course, we believe that marriage is intended by God to be a thriving, lifelong relationship between a man and a woman through trials, sickness, financial crisis, and emotional stresses. So we are first of all putting our hand up and establish what we believe when it comes on to marriage. Now, when a man and a woman get married, they become one flesh, which means everything they own equally, something we believe in. All right? It's about the body, but also includes feelings, food, shelter, economics, possessions, and all the other things that people need to survive in this world. Everything that you possess, we believe that you possess it equally. All right? Worse if you did do it when you are actually together. The bottom line, friends, is that marriage should embrace every part of life: the mental, emotional, moral, spiritual, economic, physical, and sexual. So everything comes in a marriage. Marriage have a business part, and that is also a part of what we become one as. All right? So that merging of life, or when we merge our life, and all that a husband and a wife share in it is the best path for marriage. Everything is supposed to be joined. So I establish from early what me believe and what me think. Now, here's my question to you, and you guys can give me your response in the meantime. When marriage is a contract, when is marriage a contract versus when it is a covenant? And I've heard many people sharing their views with Akeem in particular. Oh, yeah, him God, him do everything. That was not marriage. It was a contract. So we're going to talk about contract and covenant tonight. So the kind of prenuptial agreement most of us think of turns a marriage into a contract instead of a covenant. So whereas Akeem wasn't a prenup, it was another step or measure to guard against or to guard
Against the odds.
yeah, guard against the odds, losing all that he actually had. All right. So instead of a covenant, right, people will argue that that was a contract. But people have to also factor a lot of things in mind. Rather than affirming a one flesh union, it suggests a contract suggests that a husband and a wife are more like business partners. All right, and each protecting their own interests without fully trusting each other. And many persons will take that position. And if that's your position, hold on to that position, right? But we are going to also explore the other arguments. So those lines of thinking obviously have no place in a healthy relationship that's moving towards marriage. If I have to, as Tamara already said, if she have to sign one prenup, she'll walk. She not even about a steer on. She just a go it. All right, but that's the circumstance that you're in. Perhaps you would want to consider that. It's the circumstance you're in. So let's ask ourselves, is there ever a legitimate motive for a prenuptial agreement? All right, so we don't know how old you are tonight. And some of us get married when we're young. You see me get married young. And never have nothing yet. Obviously, prenuptial of people were wealthy, rich people who have things to lose. We have nothing. We never have nothing to lose. So everything that I know of own, we own together. I was in the marriage, when we started to acquire things. So obviously, my attitude towards prenup might be slightly different. But what about a man who is 50 years old, who is venturing into marriage at 50, who already have business, house, car, land, and while everybody going to marriage, except people who have a business arrangement, everybody going to marriage with a mindset of being married forever. Even no matter how people feel, everybody will get married. When they're getting married, the hope was that they're going to last forever. Nobody marries with a short-term goal of divorcing after 2 or 3 years. So, and sometimes love is there. It's not that there is not love. We don't really feel passionate and care about each other. But sometimes up the road.
Look at this situation. For example, this particular situation.
Football.
Who said that this man and this woman were really connected?
Of course, we don't know. But them said them connected to the extent that you got married. The young man was only 22 years old when he got married, by the way. He only married 2 years ago. And in a 2 years, the lady make sure so she have 2 children. We don't want to feel like she had 2 children.
So you think it was a trap?
Listen, let me get ready to feedback, Greg. Listen. Guys, we are bringing Greg to come join us.
Davis Berry.
Oh Lord. Hi, Rochelle, how you doing? Welcome to the corner. Glad to see you joining. Come on, people, invite some people and go all a reason, man. Let me bring in Greg because Greg must have some strong argument, Sir Greg, how you doing?
Hey, well, go on. You guys all right?
Brethren, me say me get the best laugh over the weekend. But no, say the ladies them nervous when we laugh like this. But boy, all me I do. I've been laughing all weekend. I've been very excited. My wife can tell us, boy, from me read the news, it come like me just win some extra money. So, yeah, Greg, we have made the point because, we start out by establishing that people marry and they want to remain together. I don't see anybody marrying, whether people have different, views about divorce or not. No one actually, I think human beings actually agree the nature of us that we are marrying because in that moment we really want to be together. And we're not looking at, say, boy, after 5 years I'm going to divorce and marry somebody again. Though that becomes the reality. So I personally think that Hakimi, when he was getting married, man was a young man, right? He was pretty much a young man, 22-year-old, have no experience. Plus, I think this woman might have manipulated him a little bit. Just my personal view. The woman is 32 years old, which means he's some 10 years older than the young footballer, right? You know, love could be there, but she must.
That just seemed like a one trophy situation. Just to say that, okay, I am married and this is my wife or this is my husband.
Yeah,
These are people who are wealthy.
yeah, but they were both well accomplished. But obviously, he had the potential of becoming much more wealthier than her, which she's an actress, and obviously had something to put on the table already. You know what I mean? So these are wealthy people. That's why prenup is not a discussion of the poor people. So we won't get thrown out of the house right now. But it's something that maybe there is a reason or grounds I want to consider, because I could see why Akim his handlers would have said to him, look here, young man, young but no stamina. But this thing where Carl love can get dirty up the road and you're gonna lose everything. So hear me I say, you better tread it safe. And maybe somebody said, if you try the prenup, she'll go suspect. Because the way the article put it, that she had demand, obviously she never know. And he must have known about the divorce for a good while. Whatever was served was served. So, and he kept quiet. I think that's the best part about the story. He kept quiet with all of this and not said nothing until the court informed. Noticing that the court informs her that he has nothing. So maybe somebody said, no, the best thing to do is to transfer all your assets to your mother. Because the court at that point can't touch, can't adjust, can't shift what is already, what your mother assets, no matter what reality suggests. No matter how we know say inside the contract, the fact of the matter is he turned the money all the way over to his mother. You know what I mean? So yeah, so does this young man, have some grounds to actually consider taking steps to protect the assets, knowing that not all marriage is going to actually last. Yes, you're married with the intention that you're at the girl list, but something not going to happen and you actually get married. It don't actually last. So tell me what you say now, Mr. Greg. Come in.
Good evening, everyone. Blessings, one out of love. Firstly, I like what you said earlier. I was thinking about the same thing while driving home. Prenuptial agreements. I know for poor people. Quite blank and period. I have nothing to do with my side of people, Yeah, it just don't make no sense. There isn't anything to protect, really. More than your dignity and certain emotions, But when I first saw this story Saturday morning, I saw a comedian talking about it, and I didn't really believe what I saw because it was a comedian delivering the information. So I did some research and found out that a serious something, But I feel like the mastermind behind this whole plan though is the mother,
Yeah.
I feel like the mother, one, never want her son to marry to somebody 10 years older than him.
Mm-hmm.
Two, she probably look at him as somebody who married too early. Because I got married at 21. First time you get married, I married at 21. So we can just hear his mother saying the same thing that my mother was saying at the time when I get married.
Yeah.
So I felt like she was doing that to all of that planning, transferring the money to her, letting her do the spending, reaching out to her for whatever he needs, is probably something designed by the mother. And he played along very well, in staying quiet, letting the court do the talking, because it's louder when the court does it. So it's just a plan backfire then, basically. And it kind of tells the depth of the relationship that two people have, because I don't think I have $10 put on anywhere that Cindy don't know about, or that Cindy don't figure out a way to know about that money. So to have so much money laying around and she don't know about it, who's responsible for it or who's in charge of it, or her name not tied to any of it, tells a lot about that relationship.
Yeah,
not knocking anybody.
But Greg, remember said the lady have her 2 cents. You know, you see that, and because we are using this as poor people, that's why we are thinking so. Because your dollar is significant to Cindy. This is a couple that have money, resource. Them have more resource than they actually need. Right? Me no need to come to you and ask you to buy a car. Me no need to come to you and ask you for your upgrade. And you have to remember, say 20% going at the man account, 20% for that man, just the man get €1 million. Just take 20% of that. 20% of that at 200,000 for your month.
200,000 euros.
It's not really practical, so you spend 200,000 unless you have some extreme. So if they say I need this, the man can afford that. Plus, him always can reach out to mommy and say, "Yo, send me some extra. Let me go and deal with this." The idea is that he's only guarding his contractual pay. If you see what is happening in the story, so it's possible to slip by. Poor people never slip by because every dollar means something to it.
The point I'm making is,
Yeah,
if you allow it to slip by
yeah,
for the duration of time that they both were married, why 150% no?
yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean? If all along she had hers and he had his, why then can't just part ways and keep on they have? Why you need to get 50% of me after?
but she have the agenda. This is the Western woman agenda. It's something that has happened consecutive from time to time. I we see in time past. It's something will happen. The lady don't necessarily need more resource. She just need to make sure say she make her position known. She show you say she a wife. And part of ending the relationship and showing you say she a wife is basically if you take 50% that we have, tap into your asset. And so this is something that me really passionate about discussing. Should we be God taking steps? And is there any grounds for people to take step to God? I said, certainly with poor people like we not nothing figure, right? As me say, me never have nothing. Me married young man. Me just going on my first job. For me little money. If my wife did ask me for 50% of that, should I embarrass because that it could cost the liar more money. You better, but I don't say, yo, take your boy. Because it don't make no sense to fight that particular case. You see what I'm saying? That's a people when I have things already. But in this case, where this young man already accomplished, right? And if my son is extremely successful and have things like that, I can see myself as a parent advising that me not gonna be biased. Because enough people I say them if them have a sign prenup. Akimi has just given us a new way of dealing with him. You know what I mean? And nobody with the prenup rest. Because one of the things with the prenup, the court can still check to see if it is fair and balanced.
Yeah.
If you were prenup is different from a court order over a certain situation.
Yeah. The judge is still going to look at the argument and see if you were fair or if somebody manipulated you to sign it. So even if he had a prenup, the court could still review it and say nothing this fair and give 80%. There's a Manchester, I think, is it Manchester United footballer who became homeless because the court not only gave the 150 but can you imagine 100%? So he became homeless. So we have to look at this thing practically, and make sure so we have balanced the thing out, and don't use our poor situation, to decide for other people in this. Yes, I believe people are marrying, and we are married for the right reason. We want to get married. We want to be together. I mean, I say Akimi never liked the woman, whether she old or not. Obviously, there was something about her that attracted. And 32 is still attractive, so don't get it. And enough young boy like older woman. So there's no issue where that is concerned. And she was still within the age range where she could have get pregnant and give him some kids and things. So he was pretty much still there. And some young people, as I mentioned, want more mature persons because them things that the young girl them too giddy. Perhaps he got married to an older woman because he might look around and I said them look a young girl that may have suspect with the want the wealth and not necessarily me. And sometimes it's hard to tell when somebody needs what you have versus you. You get me? I say this thing can be so well disguised. Somebody can make them can feel like them love and care about you so much that you know realize they actually asset them actually care about and them have an agenda. So we don't know what the reason why they get married. I mean, I'm not speculate, but I still would see my son being successful, have that kind of asset that I am going to say to son, look here, boy, I'm not say I love a woman, you know, or you feel say I love a woman. I mean, feel like say she, you know, you see her as head over heels. But what about this? These are realities. These things happen, right? Majority of people who are probably divorced today would say, boy, they never see themselves actually got divorced. You know what I mean? And for those who think it was a mistake, when they go through it, them couldn't see that it was actually a mistake or a challenge, whatever their convictions were that led them to actually get married. But I could see myself, as you said, the mother, the mastermind. I said, son, anything can happen. You know what I mean? You can be committed to someone, but that's not their view. You know what I mean? Maybe they are more committed to what you have than this. And a disagreement is going to take them to another level. The other things that we have to look at, Greg, is that other party play a part in our relationship. You see, when a woman abounds with celebrities, she behave like celebrities.
Exactly. Hold on, sorry for cutting, because I saw teachers coming. They said what about culture? You can look at the celebrity culture, right? We've seen where a lot of these wealthy persons who have been married, where it is in the culture among these people where after marriage, you see this whole thing playing out, where you have this, you know, smelly, messy kind of divorce situation where, you know, they're trying to get assets and all kind of things. So being aware of that culture too could have influenced the decision.
Exactly. And remember, you have your nice wife who you're just married to, but your wife start looking with some people, but tell us, say, yo, my girl, you can't get something now 5 minutes. You're idiot. Nobody talk about no love thing, you know. And so friends and who you meet and who you start to link with can start, you know, change, especially if you never have the deep core values are not the way they really stand for. Right? So anybody can change. The reality why we not change is because there's something that we believe, you know, that is keeping us steadfast. But we could see how this woman are looking with successful people who are, you know, probably hear about other story with other woman who got wealthy of a situation like this. And she said, why not? Let me show you I can do this. You know, maybe it's just a small disagreement them have, you know, because a lot of people are speculating that there was another conversation, there's another thing happening in the man name a call up saying rape one next person or whatever, and the wife will come out saying I defend the person. You know, this has not been proven in the court, and we don't know about the man doing any admission towards that. And when you're in this kind of position of influence, anybody, we know the thing already. All of a sudden, once you start get successful, everybody get raped. You get what I'm saying? Regardless of what the reason. You know, very few people try to accuse a poor man like me for rape. You know what I mean? Because they know nothing to get. You know, the idea is not that we just go prison. The idea is to get power and also to get what we have. We don't have nothing. So people probably never consider that kind of something. So chances are if a man say a little poor man rape him for true. You know what I'm saying?
And you have to look at the Dr. Dre case too with his wife, because they had a prenup from day one and she still walk away with a handsome amount because of the judge decision. So you're right, sometimes the judges can decide, you know, if this is a fair case or not. You know what I mean? But when you look on the whole thing still, these days relationships are more transactional than anything else. You know? Most people are going into these things because of what they can possibly get, you know what I mean, out at the end of the day, especially on that side of the world, you know, where celebrities and rich people, and it's really the business aspect of the marriage that really speaks out than anything else. You know what I mean? The whole emotional and love connection kind of they have last place in my mind, and you know, the business and growth and wealth growing and all of that takes precedence. So the culture again.
Culture, yeah. And yeah, well, the faith connection. TJ is pointing out the African lady and the American man. Exactly. she claimed that the guy, was requesting, I don't know, $50,000. I don't know if that are just per day or, but he was requesting a significant amount once that relationship started to dissolve. So we have to understand, say, me not say there's not true marriage
No, but for this marriage, the man got a handsome
amount.
amount of money because he said that he took her to America and get her a green card.
Yeah. And nowadays you can't charge for as that thing. You felt depressed, you felt manipulated, you were emotionally traumatized. There's just so many different things liars are filing for. You know what I mean? And
Lady Andrea saying that was what he was saying. He was saying that we got married young, so he never have nothing. We never have nothing for kind of establish that kind of precedent. Because what we have, we would have garnered that together. So it's a different case in that situation.
yeah, right. And so that's why I think that we have to take a step back because sometimes we want to look at the ideal situation and how we make the ideal situation is through our lens. We look at it as being poor people. So we think everybody poor and they must make the same decision, although they're poor. You know what I mean? It's not so. When you already have assets already in life, like these people, and they actually have things that they can lose, and that they can actually become bankrupt, because of some senseless approach by some judge. And we know that judges are pro-women, all right? Judges are pro-women. So no matter what me say or what, yeah, women and children. It no matter what me say or what, they come, them no business about me or the man. They can go dead for all they matter. They don't care about that. So it might be right for a couple who already have things that, look here, let us lay out the things on the card. Look here, we're going to this marriage. We love each other. Let us just agree that, look here, my asset is my asset and your asset is your asset. And, you know what I mean, you can't get anything freely from me. But may I guard the fact that if something happens in this relationship and you decide to walk away, that we're walking away without trying to make each other worse. And me think said the man must be big man enough that if he walk away from the relationship, he's not trying to get her to leave worse off. He actually going to try make sure that she's leaving better off. And the same thing for the woman, right? I think we can have an understanding versus, but it's guarding the asset, which in my sense, there's a business side to marriage. And we have to look at anything like that. Now, we probably want to put an argument out there. Yeah, well, look, I think it's an unfair thing, especially if you never contributed to anything. Well, what next thing, Nadim, I'll come to you. Let me come to you right now, by the way. Greg, here's another spin, because we might not be wealthy people, but you might be entering the marriage like as a teenager or a 21-year-old. You buy some house already, you buy a car, you have a business, things are boom already for you. You know what I mean? You already have things in place. So a little girl and you go get married, might have look and say, boy, me are coming at them, because no woman just coming and married without considering what you have. No. Every wife you never think about me, I don't never know.
It's either them consider what you have now or what you can possibly have in the future.
Exactly.
But some consideration go on somewhere.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
No?
So, absolutely. So now walking away from the relationship, she might decide, whether the hurt is justified or not, they want them something else. And she just want them because the court says she can have them versus so and understanding at the beginning to make person understand, look here, this is not a marriage where you are coming in to benefit financially in terms or to have any weird aspiration. This is a marriage that you're either coming in to help me be better, and I am doing the same to help you be better, and we're going to love each other. So I think there's a case for that. See, TJ is citing Jeff Bezos. He gave his wife half of his money freely, and Bill Gates too. Yeah, you see, there's a clear-cut understanding, and I could see that because Jeff Bezos was nothing without, the Bezos at the time. She was always there. This is not like one pop-up marriage we're done in 2 years or 1 year. they were always there. Bill Gates has been married for a long while, a whole heap of years. That me couldn't believe that Bill Gates and film wife about a divorce. If me live so long, master, with my wife, might as well me keep going on. I mean, me now have so much years left on earth. You come and say, and they had an understanding, so don't left the thing, you know. So make we pull up a little bit though, and look, because there's the other side to the story. Why? Because I mentioned earlier on, Greg, that the law is unfair. The law don't consider us. And I'll tell you that there's a part to understand in that. When the laws were drawn up, it was to protect women. Women were primarily homemakers. Them stay home. At that time, they never have no assets, or they never make the financial contribution like that. And the men, when the relationship done, would just run with the woman them, and them left with nothing. And so, in any jurisdiction, you probably look at and say, yo, you know, so this don't fear to the woman them do. Because they must have contributed emotionally, sexually. Them offer some comfort. They were present. And so, this is why judge would argue, or persons who came up with laws would argue. And that's why, you know, law is a serious thing, you know, man. Listen, you can't legislate justice. Me long said this already. You can't legislate justice because something you put into law with a good intent can be used as exploitation tomorrow. You just need the right attorney. Yeah. And so this is what is happening right now. So yes, against that background, the women should have been protected. The women should have been guided. Them should get something. You can't just send out a woman them without nothing. And some of them man they used to send out all the pick them without nothing in an effort to spite. So lawmakers were right at that particular time to pass a law. But you know you can't pass a law just for the rich, or a law just for the poor, or a law for just who have. The law for everybody. You see what I'm saying? So now in this case, these women are exploiting the situation. And maybe the judges, Greg, need to start, well, not judges, the legislators, you know, maybe they need to start revise these laws. Maybe these situations need to look at on a case-by-case basis rather than just make it automatic, say a man married for just 3 months and a woman just come and take everything with him. I think that's wicked.
True.
Let's hear what Nelly is saying. So Nelly says, would it be possible to think that the fact that there is a prenup,
there's a prepared prospect
for a divorce? Not saying divorce is not possible, but would that be prepared for the worst instead? No, I'm trying to say that my assets aren't a part of the prerequisite for the marriage. That's simply it. I'm simply trying to separate the love from the assets, because sometimes women can love. And why am I looking at it this way? Because sometimes it's just that it always happens with the woman them. I take with the man and thing, apart from the African couple, where the man exploit the woman in this particular situation. Most times a woman will exploit a man, right? So that's how we look at it. But it can be the other way around as well, all right?
But can I say something though? You know that the prenup, right? As much as we're talking about the case of divorce, you can also think about in the case of, say, other family members. Should, God forbid, a spouse die, you know, you have some family members who will want to come in and try to take over and that kind of thing. So the prenup also protects them.
Well, we don't know if the prenup, well...
Yeah, the prenup would protect them, because if you go
through
that, you know.
No, man. Prenup guard you against it. So maybe what would protect them is a will, right? So let's
No, Benz. If you sign a prenup, right, and the person come out of the picture, however the person come out of the picture, the assets have to come to you.
No, but that are the arrangement. The arrangement can be, Daniel, that you don't get nothing at all from me. That could be the arrangement. That could be a prenup agreement. It's now going to be up to a judge to decide if that was fair or not, which is largely up to the judge and depend on how persuasive the other person lawyer be. Because please understand that prenup not automatically means that the woman get everything or the other party get half whatever. It's going to be down to a debate because now the judge is going to be examining all the facts to determine if fairness is there. So that's probably something you have to look at. But if you want to guard an individual like that, because I think it was, what's his name? It's DMX. DMX who died. Was it DMX?
Yeah.
DMX died and he was not married to the girl, and the girl ended up getting nothing, and getting nothing in that particular case. The only thing he could have done outside of marriage was write a will. A will now that says 90% of my asset goes to X, right? So that's what that a will would take care of that, not a prenup. Yeah.
So for married people.
Married people is automatic. If I'm married to you, based on how the law is set up now, it's automatic that let's say, God forbid, and the inevitable happen, it's automatic that you're next in line as the recipient for everything. It no matter if me did have children X or children Y over the son, wife run things, unless I wrote a will to say that boy, deciding how the asset must be divided up. All right.
So that's the piece that we probably need to spend some time looking at, to writing that will,
Yeah.
I feel like if it's needed because people are in fear. The prenup is needed because people are in fear just the same. You know what I
That
mean? While
that
I understand that, you and somebody start from scratch, you build a life together, and whatever you guys own, it's because of effort between two people working towards it. Then splitting ways, if you do, and sharing everything, cutting everything down the middle,
yeah.
should not be hard, separate and apart from the person who come out of nowhere, gain everything, and then leave your kids to suffer in the
Yeah.
event where you pass on. Because that's one of the things that's happening a lot in Jamaica right now, where men are marrying new wives, and after they die, the new wife not looking out for the kids. They try to take everything, sell the houses, sell all the assets, and keep the money. And then even a case like 2 years ago, when this woman sell off everything and the kids them arrange to get her killed right in a church service.
Palma.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man. Right.
So them things that happen. You know what I mean? So I think those laws were put in place because, as you said earlier, people
Humanity.
are in fear, in how they make decisions. And it's very sad. We have even cases out here where a man might die, leave things with his wife, and then the family come and just thinks that everything that he died and left behind is theirs. So the wife needs to come out of the house and turn over car keys and all kind of nonsense. So,
Yeah.
looking at that prenup, looking at that will, nothing is
It's
wrong with it if you see the need to protect what you have to protect. And
exactly.
if somebody, if your partner love you, are married to you because them love and care about you, then your assets shouldn't be primary then.
Yeah.
Because somebody who loves you is going to see that you're taken care of either way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Just like you see this one name, Boswell, a Boswell in name, the guy with the Black Panther. When he was planning the whole event at death, and knowing that he was sick and everything there, he made sure he put things in place to take care of his partner. You know what I mean? Before he passed on. So when somebody care about it, they're going to make those effort to really take care of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Me and my wife over here argue law.
Oh, she Google it.
Yeah, she's trying to show me that the prenup actually work in the case of a
The
death
death
also.
thing.
But I'm trying to explain to her it's still up to a judge to decide what is fair, and it's also going to be based on the agreement that she agreed to. Because what we need to understand is that a prenup is simply a contract, an agreement. So, and both of us are signing that agreement. So I am putting forth an argument and saying this is what is going to happen. if you decide that you don't want nothing, me no want, you have to keep 100% a year or something. When the thing come, it's up to the judge. If the judge want to decide if you want to follow through with what was in my thing, or him going to say, boy, at least man, give you 10%. That's what I'm saying. But I will would have best guard you, because I will would see where I am saying intentional. Only if this happens to me, I want you to have 80%. That's a different thing. That nobody can contest, because that in itself is a will, and it says you're supposed to get, which is also a contract again as well. I had to do a will all when me. Greg will tell you, I was a soldier, and I couldn't believe me. I have nothing at all. At the time, I have one single bed. I'll never have a single bed, me buy when I 15, work hard and buy a bed, join military, me about 19. I want single bed, me have on the salary I come in. You know what I mean? At the time, and I think the salary, it was, what I call it now? We call them look at stipend.
Stipend.
Yeah, so me a trainer soldier, so me a stipend forget. And the man them give me this big old paper me have to sign up before me can go into training. But me if you will everything what me have. Me not have nose, me not have no car, me not have nothing. That's the farm of everything. All me I go try any.
Not applicable.
The man say, you can't leave it empty. You have to write something in it. So that's why I live very sure. So me never have nothing. When they're married, because me remember that I still have a copy of the long old sitting. Any. Nothing at all.
Yes, not applicable.
Exactly. So all of me never even consider prenup, because all of me have a pure any. So back. I want to go back to Nelly's comment a little bit though. And see. So Nelly is asking, would it be possible to think that the fact that there is prenup, there is prepared prospect for divorce? It might be for one person, but I could see why I'm saying this to my son. It's not that I'm hoping that he's going to divorce. I see him as safeguarding his assets. Okay, I want to make sure that the person love him and not just love the assets. You get what I'm saying? Because a person who loves would just, if the marriage had dissolved for it, would be walking away anyways. And then it would be up to my other advice would be, son, you can't just make the lady walk and go down where she go without nothing at all. She has been there with you, right? So I would be fair in that particular case. So I think prenup is primarily about looking at what I already have and wanting to make sure that I keep them safe. There's another side to it, Greg, is that in some cases, people were already married, right? They were married already. They had children outside a relationship, for example. You come, you'd have some things already. Basically, now, you still provide for your children, right? And a woman come and you never do no prenup and take everything from you. Now what happened to those children that you have?
See,
So, you see, there's just so much to this kind of thing. There's no one side fit all. And that's why I really think that every man needs to examine their situation, look where they are, and take steps. It's like putting away emergency fund. It's not that you're hoping for a storm to come. You would have preferred no storm to come. You would have preferred no storm to come. But in the event a storm come, you would want to know there's something to bounce back. People who put away money in the case that them lose them job, you're not hoping to lose it. You're putting money away that if this happens, well, I can still survive. So I see prenup there as safeguarding, as protecting my future, as making sure, me can take care of those who are depending on me. What would I explain to my children? God forbid, one woman take away the whole I see them around God. I mean, they have some people where I depend on me. You can't go back to school because they took everything from me. You see, so as you rightfully said, Greg, these things came into being because of people who were unfair. So the laws were put in place because the man them did unfair and never treat the woman them well. No, it started by the man them because the woman them unfair. And that's why I think that listen, one of the worst things can be is law. I tell you this, all you need is a good attorney. because you can still write a prenup, Daniel.
And
You
still,
and
the
you
court
still not
order
get nothing.
overthrowing.
Yeah, yeah, either overthrow, let's say we did argue say if you get 50%, but the judge will look for you and say you never make enough contribution. So prenup not always go the way of the victim, or the one who's
True.
claiming to be victim. It's still going to be down to the decision of a judge hearing, and obviously the judge is going to assess all of the evidence. If you have a good lawyer putting up your case, but then
Trouble.
what about a man we can't afford a good lawyer? Him just do
Trouble.
everything. Yeah, there's a celebrity in art. Here the other thing what we need to consider. Here the next part. Good God, man.
The children.
No, yeah, the children thing they put in place because the man did not take care of them. And that is well needed. But then I think there's an overreach. Now, Greg, me not think me think there must be a balance. A judge must take into consideration what it requires to sustain a child for a week or a month, for however long they are expected to give child maintenance. It should not be that people are just deciding that based on how much you have. Because of exploitation. There's a celebrity who's paying $200,000 for him picking them. $200,000 US. No, me no business where you want to say, man.
Yes, you said 200,000 specified.
$200,000 US.
Each.
Me say Alpha one, Alpha for each R1. Me and you now make $200,000 US for the year and we take care of 4 people. I think that is wicked. So exactly. So we have to look again. There are some things that me think it terrible, man. The law must be balanced. It must be fair.
Celebrities are gold diggers.
I wouldn't. I mean, come in and hear some of the comments. Celebrities are gold diggers, whatever they are, and so most of their relationship ends sour and they lose out. Yeah, blessings to your steady show. Welcome in the place, man. Yeah, come in, James. Well done. Shane's and then, but really and truly a long time prenup relationship were never built on the principles of having a long-term relationship, no love, no trust, etc. Say Faith, me don't know if
you want. Say if Danik them have assets more to them to sign the prenup.
Oh, you mean? Me not go say it never depend that. Fine. Me tell my wife me don't like deal with hypothetical, me deal with somebody else. If person A and person B did marry and person B happen for dead, and person A end up married again, person A did have 2 people already who are depend on him. Who to know if this new person C, or am I married, and I want selfish somebody? How that would I feel? Just think about you being
like
the child.
Cinderella story.
Yeah. Think about you being the child now who is going to be homeless because one woman come take away the house and the car and the land and nothing left for you. You can't go to school, you can't eat no food. There are so many, me say the footballer became homeless. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
So there's just so much, and not every situation is ideal. I mean, come in and here I go. Marital contracts also refer to a prenuptial agreement, date back to ancient Egypt. One of the earliest known prenups of over 2,000 years. Exactly. So even marriage, people argue so. Even marriage itself is a prenup agreement. The prenup agreement is if me dead 100% go to my wife. That's an agreement. That's just how it goes. No question. So the marriage itself, and that's why when a man in just a sweetheart relationship, it's dangerous. Because you could have worked hard and lose. You could have worked for all your life. Let's say for most women, work for all your life, wash clothes, cook, clean, provide good sort out, and then the inevitable man drop out and you have nothing, you're gone homeless. So that's why marriage people always encourage people say, yo, make sure the man married to you, that kind of thing. We normally hear people tell people that it's a prenup agreement.
Read this.
Yeah.
It is. Even in this situation, there must have been a discussion to split the assets in half, since the prenup is an agreement between two couples. Then
Yeah.
here you know, follow up. But my brother secretly moved out the money to his mother. Does this mean that she has
It's
been
scam.
scammed?
Well, yeah. Well, probably.
Right there.
Yeah,
Chances
because
are he flipped the script.
because he knew he could lose. So you might be arguing it's a scam, you know. But for me, I guess because me always see the bad thing happen to man so much that me just feel it could be alright with the scam this time. But it's a scam.
Well, so we pull back one.
We pull back one. You know, we always get one love. It's like football, you know. We always get one love. Today we make sure we get that one love.
But
Right now.
you know, I think he could leave her with hers though. You know, the very fact that he got to keep his it kind of low now. I don't know how you see it, but we see it as a low blow for really take from her.
She didn't have no mercy upon him. Take your money and find Robdon account and send it to me. Give it to charity. No, sir. Man, look here, man. This is a home goal, you know.
Well.
It's a home goal, you know. When you play football and the next opponent score a home goal, you know, the ref will say, okay, all right, nobody score it. We'll cancel it. No, the goal stand. She me like how the article put it. She demand, you know, and the court respond and say, Akeem, you know, want nothing. So now she is more wealthy.
He must demand now.
So now he must demand. Look here. Right now, if I me a file for emotion, distress, everything. I don't you know, everything. It better man get everything and then give back one and then just say, all right, I'll give you back 100%. Make a lesson. But no man.
So she won't use the one next
marriage. Exactly. Now, there's another story because I want to pull one next story because this is not the only story we are going in our media because I don't know so once a story of them, you know. Yeah, man, of them, man. So there's this other story, good. Not a story 19. I'm going to show you how the woman is wicked. And that's why I mean, I have no mercy for that one. Woman wicked. Because enough time the woman them could have fear enough. They could have looking at it and say, you know, say, boy, I mean, I have to take everything. You can't take something that is significant.
Oh, this one.
You want everything. Now look to that one.
That one is done bad.
Michael Sterling. Let's talk about Jamaica. Michael Sterling married Eva Marsa Pickford in 2017. Watch this. The man not just married, but he legally adopted her daughter from a previous relationship. We don't know where the deadbeat papa gone. I will not even know if papa deadbeat, by the way. But you must be deadbeat if you sign over for your picnic because you must still have to sign here over. Eh? Eva now in divorce, filed for divorce last month and is requesting child support payment for the adopted daughter.
He will adopt?
Yes. Listen, man. Listen. So I don't know what to do, you know. So all of them mother where they point and say, oh no, and I talk about, yo, me want the marriage for idea. I want my children married for the right reasons. But me have to help say God. Yeah. Because no, me can't go advise my brother them to just get up willingly and just go adopt a child. Me have to tell them no adoption without prenup.
Ooh. Oh man, a wicked man.
Yeah. He's not the biological father. He's a legal father. Yeah, man.
To take the responsibility rather than forcing to take child support from him.
Yeah. I think he would have. If he went as far as adopting the child, I think he would have take care of the child even then, you know what I mean? But to demand it.
Yeah, but child support I did another way to make sure the man poor enough. This is an agenda, you know, for bring the man down to nothing, you know. is a way of carrying out our hatred agenda. So
Yes.
it's not necessary because obviously if the marriage dissolve, them all get something. We don't hear about no prenup, whatever. There's going to be something where she'll get for herself. But she'll make sure say she's a part of the man distress for the rest of his life. Obviously, the man that gives something, but this is a woman who's going to be very unfair. She want demand the extent, so she'll get to a liar now. We're going to demand one excess reach, but the man need to give. That's why enough of the man them can't afford child support, and them just run bankrupts, run homeless. It's wicked.
You know, hate the pitney too.
Exactly, and hate the picnic for real. So you don't, you see the child as just a duty rather than
Yeah.
actually one.
A meal ticket.
Of course. So this wicked man. Yeah, so what do you think? He's on track for other things. So he probably feels at some point. Say,
Oh, in my space. Oh, when they're called for
what that?
the guy, Akeem.
Yeah, me not have time to carry man go.
But I get it before.
That's right, teacher. That's too expensive. You know, worth the time.
It's an expensive process. You know, and you know, that's why we need to actually have this kind of discussion. So I guess this is going to lend me now to go back to my conversation. So, you know, as I said, in my personal view, I feel like marriage must last and people must make the effort. It shouldn't be that we get to the place where, may I see things as mine versus yours. But there's also the possibility of some unfair treatment popping up later on. And you know one thing when we realize, Greg, we can there go and be kind, and I think kind, for this woman, I wonder if this woman did go have like a mercy for Kim and say, all right, in work actually hard. He's a young man. I wonder if maybe she will just damage him emotionally, that every other woman when see is an object. I want sometimes women have to understand, that some troubled men that we see out the road, where do some things and I treat our sisters poorly because that was some woman have already done to them.
Yeah.
And this is not a program to bash women, please.
Battle stars.
I'm just saying, and men do it too. But most times, in this particular case, it's a man who is always on the receiving end. So I want to put forth these arguments that if someone is getting married, Christian or not, these are perhaps some reasons why you would consider a prenup. And again, this is not for poor people. Obviously, the points them I'm going to show you clear. It's not for poor people. So one, inheritance or trust funds for children from a previous marriage. Because you know that if you even did have some money where you put away for your pitting in that trust fund, that marriage Trump take away everything, you know that? She was half. So you come down and only for money, me not for work myself. Then you have the next one, significant debt incurred before the marriage. So a person, you cannot marry to somebody where you have millions of billions of dollars with them. Now that they are divorcing, then they just see you as a person who can help pay off them loan. You now have to go incur after that they are depending on what the judge actually said. So these are some reasons. And if me have my son, me sorry for no. Me know say love is a predominant thing to get married. You know what I mean? But me also know say along the way of life, some things happen when it's supposed to happen. Me I go advise my son. Me I go say, son, watch it, Why you be careful? That's just the reality. The other one is a business that was created prior to the marriage. You've already had something successfully going, and somebody just married to you 10 days and file divorce and take away half it. And I feel like they must stay there for 10 years. Most of these marriages that are dissolving under 3 years.
Yeah.
So no, let's not be naive. It's not like people, because I think after 7 years, someone has made significant contribution to your life. They could have taken all 80% and you feel good. At least they get some dinner, what I mean? Some comfort. They were there. They stood with you. But a person who just pop up for 10 days and the marriage dissolve, a wickedness that there. Channel, Jesus. Another one could be extreme assets, right? Just anything over having $2 million US put on. I mean, I have none of that. I want to suggest though that prenup should never be driven by emotions such as fear of being taken advantage of. And while we are concerned, your primary reason should be, boy, I'm afraid to this go on. If you're that fearful, don't marry her.
True.
I mean, don't start the relationship. Because there must have been some red flags that are flagging up to you. And most times, Greg, if you trust your instinct, you're probably right. All right?
True. True.
So don't get married. A person in that situation don't need a prenup. You need to opt out of the marriage. That's key. And another thing that one might need to consider, and make sure don't allow this to drive you to have a prenup, is negative experience with money or lack of financial security. So, yeah, don't consider doing that simply because you have a bad experience in the past, right? You need counseling. You probably need some bridging to sit down with you and teach you how to budget, teach you how to make proper decisions, teach you how to probably divest your income, all right? So, because you don't want to be walking around as being a slave in your marriage. I walk around and wonder if, it's like, them people who used to talk about duppy. Me have one mother, man, when she don't talk about duppy, you're afraid, you never sleep. Every sound feel like a duppy, so that's what she talk about. Come, yeah, man, same thing. Don't consider prenup, yeah. If your emotions are driven by residual hurt, pain, anger from a previous marriage, you have not yet moved on. So, Akimi here was never married. So we can't say because something happened to him before. I see this as a home goal by his wife. I see this as a master plan by the handlers, whether if that is led by his mother. I see this as master. All right? But don't let it be that because you have had hurt, pain, or anger in a previous marriage. You need counseling. You probably need to walk away from relationship. You probably need to make sure you're healed before. If you have to get up every day and I say, boy, that the wife didn't do me this, so this a wife forgot to do me that, you're not ready for marriage. So you should probably be opting out. I think there are some serious things being flagged up here. All right. Don't sign a prenup if your emotion is driven by a desire to control. If I control you, I try to control the person. So you all say, you can't lift it up because of me of 80% of this or 90% of this, me still run things. Well, it seems like there is no love. You know what I mean? And any relationship like that is going to, make people uncomfortable. All right? And you yourself is going to be uncomfortable. Greg, one thing people have to understand is that when you make people uncomfortable, you're also exerting energy to make them uncomfortable.
Yes.
Don't think you become happy just because somebody is, uncomfortable. You have to always design a mechanism to make the other person
To keep them uncomfortable. True.
So
take more out of you sometimes.
Exactly. You could use your energy better. All right. Don't consider prenup if your emotions, if it is driven by emotions, of honest to goodness, selfishness. I'm going to extend that. You want to show how much you honest, how much you good in the thing, how much because some people like to put a value on goodness and a value, on honesty. You know what I mean? So I want to show how much better maybe at least may I be upfront with you. Well, that shouldn't be the relationship you want to go into. You probably want to walk away from the actual marriage. All right? Don't bother with the marriage. All right? Um, on the other hand, somebody might discuss if you truly love somebody, because it might be when I'm a lovely single young lady or when a single young man might listen to me. Somebody do suggest prenup, no mean to say relationship can't work. And it don't mean to say God never send us somebody else. Sometimes you have to understand that prenup shows what we really love. Is it the individual or is it what they have?
And
Would I
things.
still love the person without a promise of these things? So if someone have that discussion with you, here are some steps that you might need to take. You might need to engage. All right, communication is always part of that. Spend some time and talk. Look at definitely some conflict management skills, because if every time we have a conflict, we're not gonna pull out the prenup agreement, then it means that there's going to be a struggle. Right? You're not going to remind yourself. That's why you got to call prenup, because you don't want me. Me have business, me have property now. So you really need to look at these things. All right. The other thing I must say to ladies or men equally is your core values and differences. What are those things you're not compromising? It's fine to think that, look here, this is not for me and I'm not pursuing it. Right? It's fine to say, boy, well, love is my key thing. And I mean, no matter to me, because I love the individual, I trust the individual, and I move forward anyways. All right? Make sure you learn different communication styles. And of course, remember teamwork. And always remember to be kind and sharing to each other. All right? Just caring, kind and caring. Where sharing come from?
Yeah,
I feel like
sharing a prenup.
And I genuinely do say, what I mean, that there is an argument, Christians, viewers, for us to consider prenup. And I think sometimes, as individuals, Greg, we're extreme to the right or extreme to the left. But sometimes I have to come to the center, because that's where the balance takes place. We never see nobody balance something for the right alone. Our balance for the left, it's always unbalanced. So you have to come to the middle and consider all of the situation. For you, it's definitely applicable. For me, it make no sense. It just show how wicked maybe. Like, I don't know, go right on prenup, like, how that makes sense. Then Daniela come from days when Daniela eat banana chips.
By choice.
Alright. But I come from the days when Daniela never used to only have Sunday, Monday. For the people who are foreign, they know one name Sunday, Monday. But we used to have Sunday, Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Sunday, Thursday. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, so we reach a point now where we can have a fresh meal every single day. I think that's just that helps me to appreciate her more. In my mind, Greg, she stood with me when there was nothing. And what I mean, and she's now still here. That is testament of the quality of person that she is. You know what I mean? So that is like, you can never equate things like that to money or to anything tangible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So for a woman like that who wants to walk away with half, you can't even add to it.
Yeah. Take 31%.
Yeah, man, just
And you know what? If we make some more money in the future, I'm going to still die on them.
yeah, man, but still I go, yeah, because I owe you that. It's key.
But Mr. Relationship like that will end in divorce. Couple decide that them can't stay together. But every month the man still decides he must send money to the woman. And if him having a big break, him still call her, and
Yeah.
trust them. And respect that, Because, sometimes two people can't live together because of whatever reason. but it don't trump the good when people did actually do. You know what I mean? So yeah, and that's why you see, Greg, we can't legislate justice. We can't legislate goodness. We have a ministry of justice, but sometimes they look like in better we never have done.
Yeah, for real,
Because
man.
it won't appear sometimes as the ministry of injustice. You know?
For the most part.
Because you can't legislate. I think there's some human behavior that just have to come from the goodness of our heart. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So when me personally sit down and assess, and look at where we are come from, you know what I mean? Yo, Greg, one time me there me yard, man, and well, at the time, me decide say, say me now go on school and thing. Me now go back on school because I have to go take care of my young wife. You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna make sure me have money because as a young youth, you still have things say, boy, I have money, I will keep that woman, No matter how you sanctified, you still have say, boy, if she don't have nothing, she probably will cut anyways. You know what I mean? Because that's important. And Greg, I tell us, me have $0. Me say, yo, me give up, me not try this. My wife and I working, that's why I tell us, woman always have a tread bag somewhere. No matter how. And big up to the woman them, because them always have a tread bag. And that's why men, we need to look back because enough of them tread bag they help make who we are. And so that's why we shouldn't be trying to legislate things. We should just try to make the goodness of our heart guide us.
yes.
And my wife just come out them time there, say a young schoolgirl come up with $90,000 Jamaica, perhaps in our 2000 and what, 2000 and maybe 13. And pay half of my school fee up front. That's a serious sum. I say, yo, go on to school. Because you know what, me have a degree, you need to have one. But now I never forget that. So no matter no matter how much other things I personally accomplish, you still hear
Yeah.
the person say, me have a degree. So go on, go have a degree. So how you legislate a thing like that? That's me I say. You know what I mean? It's like you can't divide yourself.
Only conscience can legislate that.
Exactly. Because,
Only a strong conscience.
there's no amount of money, where you could have do for pay for that the kind of consideration there where somebody get. I better you know, Greg. One day, I really was sitting there. And the house now have no food enough, no money in the house. I mean, I said to Daniel at the time, say, yo, say, one school invite me to come make a presentation.
No, we were living in Mona at that time.
No, man, I St. Mary, man. St. Mary. I never live up on Mona yet, because I never have money to pay for rent like that. So, couldn't. So, when I St. Mary, and no money now run. And me I say, so school invite me to come do a presentation. And I say, no, so me can't deal with that. Me now can't do it, only me now have it in one dry $1,000 manly. Me having a mind here, man. Me could have never left the house. And my wife have nothing at the house and talk about me and pay that, or pay fear. At the time that money that it did enough to reach Manchester. My wife look at me, man, and say, yo, Robdon, go on, Go on. So I said, what you going to eat when you're there? So me go and drink water, me alright. Regine, me heart and nervous up, because me really know I forgot. And this lady still press me close and tell me, say, go in I car. Go on. You never know if this is not where God is going to open an opportunity for you. Long and short is, man, when I finally reach Manchester, and I reach, man, the way hungry I kick me, with the presentation. But because me when I present, they bring me in a big cafeteria, I'm going to look at pure food in there. I'm so afraid to eat the food, but hungry, I'm afraid to eat the food.
Are your wife home?
No, man.
Yes.
No, man. I
If
don't
I
want
did St. Mary, would have food.
At that particular time, what remember?
I remember when they carried the cake and they carried Fred, carried a whole heap of something that they did. It was Mona.
Well, honestly, I'm more than no. One of them. It certainly happened though. And me I say, Virgin, me did I know when I say, Robbie, me I looking at me, I say, me can't eat this food there, man. So the chef come around and look for me and I said, Mr. Speaker, you alright, everything good? You need anything, is there anything else we can get you? I said, Virgin, you don't have no box. I said, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to eat this because I left my wife home hungry. He said, the man said, eat some food, man. But we stock you up. Hey, the man come around in the one and I said, I'm going to look for a bag of things in the one. The man look like a shop. A shop. The man look like a shopping go shop, man, because me I get other food plus, you know.
Yeah.
Fresh food and all that something, you know. I'm going in and deal with the presentation. When the man introduced me, man obviously know about me. So the man talk about me and the person will be basically because he was one of my lecturers and that's why he invited me. And I say when the man done present, how good me be, man. But one man talk about me there one time I really do my talk. Only my wife talk better than the man about me. And yeah, man, a lady there beside me, man, principal, I never forget that. That's my first teaching job. And the way the man has sell me in an introduction, the lady touched me and said, sir, you have a job. I try to show them, say, the degree of my wife written in like the first job of my wife wrapped up in a it. Because if she would have not made that sacrifice, Greg, me say me I still hungry. Now, how you legislate or put a percentage to that. You get me? No. And I think that is one of the things that marriage, you know, when you're built together, that's one of the beautiful joy it affords you. You know, anything else, me ungrateful. Anything else, gotta go beat me. Anything else, some good slap me I get, you know. Because if she never says she has to stay hungry, Bridget, and me reach this up, that woman that never hear about me to the point where the man, me not even do an interview, the woman just touch me and say, you want a job? You have a job? No, sir. You want a job? Yes, sir. When you don't present, come talk to me. And I still go up there and feel inspired to make my presentation. You see, when we done come down, the lady looked for me and said, listen, sir, you know, I heard somebody said that you didn't have, you know, and you were carrying some things home and they were trying to get a ride with me home. Listen to me, sir, here. we start get good treatment from the principal before we get the job. You know what I mean? So we end up going back home with more money than I've left my yard with. You know what I mean?
Right. Amen.
And we go home back with food. So what I say is that without sacrifices like this, so my wife come and say she want 50, well if you take 90, me still not feel bad.
No problem.
No problem. And I suppose that's what I try to say in all of this, that in all these relationships, the wives, whomever they are, should come on board and make your presence felt and help build up the man them. Man them must do the same. And when you do that, I don't think there's any hard feelings if a man have to share half with you. Because, you know, them see the sacrifice, the commitment, the passion that you actually have. So maybe the reason why we have this conversation is because the women have found a way to exploit the system. And Akeem found a better plan. And
but you know, a loophole might soon be created to block that strategy, you know. Yeah, because now that just newly thrown out there, you know, look for new clause to protect a female from that. Because what if that woman wasn't somebody who had her own, you know what I mean, being an actress? What if she was just a regular housewife and him, you know, really swindle her out of her percentage then, as you put it? You know, it's yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, probably going through a divorce now, there must have been some things that would have come up in the marriage, some disagreement or some conversation or some kind of kind of cue, that kind of thing that would have suggested that this would have been a possible outcome. The problem that also helped to influence his decision, because people that just get up and divorce, that there are things that
No,
lead
No,
to
no,
a
no.
divorce.
Well,
things leading
poor
up.
people, poor
True.
people, poor people. Remember, guys, we are talking like poor people. Can we never reach it?
No, but even in a
Only
friend, some of them must
Bill
have
Gates and
changed.
the man and his wife married for how long, and the man then just get up and quick up for say,
But I
we have
think one
we
of
have
the
come to a mutual agreement. When poor people are divorced and ball and ball, what kind of
Are
mutual
just
agreement you have come to?
are
So you have to remember that people are diverse and people are unique, and depending on who you are and what your experiences are, they're different. There's no marriage that is without challenge, and that's why I don't think say. That's why I personally don't think say. Um, you know, when people talk about no marriage are perfect, I disagree. I think my marriage perfect. You know what I mean? My reason for saying that, I'm more of a look probably. Yeah. My reason for saying that is that if I can disagree and we can still find a way to keep going, that for me is doing the right thing. You know, this come like when me always say in a church that God no call to sinless perfection, which means him no comes. So I don't think marriage is about no trouble per kind of perfection. I think it's about more of us doing the right thing every time to keep the marriage actually afloat and the marriage going. And if a couple can find a way to do that, you're doing the perfect thing that will make the union work. And soon after, you'll be celebrating your century together. You know what I mean? If you keep doing that,
mhm.
that's how people stay in marriage. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's perhaps when I look at. But yeah, as I said, Greg, there will be loopholes come because some man now, unfairness again, I go start exploit that little loophole there. Them not no reason for do it, but hey, every man would have gone to Western Union or whatever, gone to some banking institution because of this inspired and decided I'm gonna transfer out everything to
Everything
them.
to him.
Yeah,
Sir.
especially Jamaicans, because
I hope
Jamaicans,
the mother have been doing.
because
Ah,
Jamaicans love their mother way. Maybe I want some funny. I think the people in the
Yeah, that's sad if the mother not having
but
panawin again.
maybe I'm one son. Remember now, when parents die, the next pitney get emotional. So there's a class in that too. So I saw it go. The same thing like, for example, there is a class that determine the
The
first child,
percentage
second child, third child, how the resource is
divided.
divided. So maybe the man I the only child, 100% him go actually get. Lady Paula said there's a loophole already. There's always loophole in the law. Yeah, man, exactly. And the only reason why people are finding loophole are closing loophole because people are being unfair. So whether I
unfair.
I, I personally think Akimi scammy wife, but with the amount of with the amount of a setback with the man them go through, it's about time. It's about time we have something to smile about. I'm sure no say me speak on behalf of most man. We get a good laugh out of this. The story.
Good face.
Yeah, man, the story light up a weekend. Um, She's just saying when girlfriends do these things as Lady Daniel did, they solidify their place as wives. They remove the conversation of exactly. You see, remove the conversation of prenuptial agreement and increase the likelihood of fairness in divorce. But like that, that look like I want quote for your book.
Solid man.
Yeah, man,
Is
that's
a
solid.
solid quote.
Solid.
Because I want to say on record that every promotion that I got over the last 5 or 6 years of everything to do with Cindy and her hand in it. You know what I mean? She inspired, instigated from day one and make you feel like you can do this, so go and go do it. So I understand when that story that you share with the whole Manchester trip. You know, I've had several trips like that because, you know, Cindy just believes say a time for you move up, so go on, you know. So when you have a woman like that and God forbid she decide to part ways with you, giving her all, giving her half, it no matter, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Because you have that conscience and that deep belief that, you know, things might have been different had it not been for her,
yeah,
you know. So we think the fairness come down to that too, you know, where you can agree with yourself as a human being and know that both of us fought for this together. Um, you know, would rather not to part, but if we have to, you
mm,
know, part in a way that both of us can live and not have that malice in the middle of it, you know what I mean, just in case. So we have to be fair.
true, true. Well, Greg, you know, so I'm sorry for you, man. God forbid we are going married to Daniel, but time I've got agree, so I have got show up regularly. We just have to go. That are going to be part of him prenuptial. Yeah, man, me are going to still be a part of Daniel line. Sorry. We still have to go check out. We still have to go make sure that she all right. We still have to come
Mm-hmm.
around and make sure that she good.
Yeah, yeah, man.
So it might need to sign a prenup.
You know, I see people say too. I know you're alone because it's the same thing I said to you, you know what I mean? The man they gonna be very uncomfortable, you know? Very,
Yeah, better not
very,
feel
very
away.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, you know, we just now go away.
No, I'm not gonna know it.
So, you know, if him can angle it, big up yourself.
See him so, because me not have nowhere to go.
No, we are going. People, we come to the end of another lively discussion. You are would say. Let us know if you think we were very balanced, square, and fair. You know, we try our best to present all the different arguments on the table. We shared our personal opinion and views on the matter. Obviously, we're not over here telling nobody, so they must write prenup. I will not over here tell them to go write prenup. I think we're giving them enough things to consider. But decide for yourself what you're actually going to do. I certainly think, as we would have shared, that there are grounds for, and of course, as Sheen so nice to put it, when a woman do all of this and serve you well, it erases the need for any prenup. We will just give them 100% and go on. Go relax, left them, let them enjoy them life because they are, of course, the reason for the success tonight. We want to thank Father Greg, you know, for coming in and sit down and especially for me not even gonna say late notice. You know, come in and keep the conversation live and of course share the valid input, you know. And of course, I will just say thanks. For all the people that will read or listen to our story and have reached out and shared the wonderful comments and you know and your support. We just thank you very much for them. Personally, me never know say we I would ever get the boldness to actually get up and talk about this. As me share in the video, I mean, no one joke me, I felt let down by evil God. See me I say, it still had a serious toll on me. And so although I get up and do the programs and all different programs and interact and be jovial and laugh, you know, did take a toll on me. You know, and on my wife, as you would understand. And you know, somebody might say, "Boy, but you know, a couple months now, time gone, but you know, it still affect me away." And you know, what I mean, I think it will always affect us as we go through life. But of course, with your support and the kind of encouragement and how you guys rallied and kind of stay with us, many of you know that something was going on wrong with me and you know, never pressure we, you know, allow us till the time when we come we could actually express, you know, what was going on and what we were going through. And so we appreciate that kind of support. And just want to say big up and thanks to everyone. Blessings. All right, so Daniel, I pray I alone man on the screen tonight. So may I give a volunteer for prayer. Especially like how we agree. We just do one prenup a while ago and say we are give 100%. Plus extra.
God, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for this platform where we can come, we can share, have good, balanced discussion on matters that are arising, God, in marriages, in different relationships. I pray, God, that as every person would have joined this evening, as would have raised the points and the discussion would have taken in a lot of arguments concerning the topic of prenups. I pray, God, that persons who would have joined that a little bit of understanding for those going into marriage on how to proceed, how to see things. I pray, God, that in our marriages will build as one, that God will be built to last as we are connected to you, God, to pleasing you, to following the mandate given to us. I pray, God, that you'll cause our marriages to prosper, to bloom, that God, our marriages will be like a poster board to show persons that God, when we include you in our relationship, that God, we are able to experience the greatness. We're able to experience, God, the success, the victories together, even as we go through hurdles and different challenges. I pray, God, for those who aren't married yet, that God, you will cause them to make wise decisions as they go through the process of preparing, as they go through the process of being their best selves, as they await that person that they'll partner with, God, to fulfill purpose. I pray, God, that you'll cause every relationship to this day experience, God, your presence and what it adds, God, to different unions. I pray, God, that where persons have been questioning, where the trust, God, have been broken, where, God, the arguments have been raised of what have or what should have or how will things turn out. I pray, God, that there will be some kind of balance as we go from here today. Help us to be better as couples. Help us, God, to be a difference. Help us to be an example among those that we share each day. And I pray, God, that, Father, we'll be able to open up our hearts to your direction as we trust you, God, in everything. Amen.
Amen.
You say amen like the prayer long.
It was it was only a mile. All right, blessings everyone. Greg, last word of you.
For relationships, when you're going into these things, try not to let it be so transactional. Do it because you love somebody and you want to build a future with them. Not just to get something out of it, whether it be green card, as I said earlier, house car, whatever it is, assets, things. Love people for who they are, fall in love with the human being inside that person that you met or feel for. The other thing I want to say before I go is sorry for that woman that gets married to that young man here, because I don't think he'll be able to do this twice. You know what I mean? Yeah, so yeah, just be fair, just be fair with how you go about your everyday life, especially when you're married to somebody, you know what I mean? Because you should be treating that person as yourself, basically.
Yeah.
You won't cheat yourself, so it's my 2 bits. Just love. Love and love alone.
All right, well said. There you go, people. Fairness is what should be the hallmark of every marriage. You know what I mean? We shouldn't have to consider these things. And we hope we don't find ourselves in these situations. All right, well, we're already married. Just a talk for the people that were not yet married. But that being said, everyone, we want to thank Greg for coming through. We want to thank everyone for listening to us.
Shout out to Cindy.
Yeah, man. We'll be back here next week. Same place, same time for whole reason. And another interesting topic. Now we keep it current, informative, and fun. That said, we want to wish you a blessed evening. Take care and see you next week. Blessings.
Blessings. Heart love.
I begin to